Hey guys, I'm Aditya Thakur and welcome to another video in our complete Python playlist. In this video, we'll talk about operators in Python, what are the different operators available to us and how can we use them. So let's get started with the video. Before we go into it, a quick introduction to Newton School. Newton School is a platform which prepares you for your career in tech. It has courses designed for freshers, for working professional and for women with no tech background. Newton School first trains you for 6 months and helps you become an amazing full stack developer. It has a network of more than 300 plus great companies. So once the training is done, Newton School ensures that the students get placed with the best companies in the country, and they also have a pay after placement program, which means you do not have to pay anything until and unless you are placed. So about the Launchpad, it is an initiative taken by Newton School for people who want to start coding from scratch and learn the basics of different programming languages for absolutely free of cost. This video would also be as a part of the Launchpad section of Newton School. There you can practice several quizzes and assignments related to this course. So getting started with it, we'll talk about Python operators first. These operators are used to perform various operations on variables and different values. So Python has different operators. It divides it into the following groups. There are arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, logical operators, identity, membership, and bitwise operators. We look at all of these as we go. First, we'll get started with arithmetic operators. So I'll quickly go over to Python newtonschool.co. If you haven't already, you can create a new account by going over to sign up, or you can just log in. Since I already have account, I'll quickly log in. Then after you are logged in, you have to go to the playground tab here and go down to algorithm playground. You can open an existing one or you can create a new one by clicking on create Python and giving it the title and description. This should take you to a page where you'll have a code editor where you can give it an input and get an output. So getting started with the arithmetic operators, they are basically used to perform operations on numeric values, as in the basic mathematical operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. There is also modulus and exponentation and floor division. So how does this work is basically we'll have two variables. So yeah, we'll also have to select our the compiler. So since we have been working with Python, we would use Python 3, and we'll have to write the code again. So I'll take two variables, x which will be 10 and y which would be equal to 5, and then I can simply use the print statement to perform the operation. So let's go with addition first, which would simply print out the sum of these numbers, as in the sum would be 15. We can also use subtraction, which would print out the difference between these numbers, and multiplication, that would just multiply these numbers. So we are getting the output here, and similarly we can also do division, which would just divide 10 with 5 and return a double. So right, that is the basic operation. Then we have the modulus, which should which should return the remainder. So let us use the modulus here. So you'll see that we get 0 because 5 completely divides 10, so it returns the remainder. And then we have the exponential. So how this works is basically if I want to raise a number to power of 2, as in if x was 2 and I wanted to raise it to y, so I can simply use two asterisk signs to do this. So it would print out 4, which means 2 raised to power 2. So this is used to raise, to give it a power, you can use double asterisk signs. Then there is the floor division. which is basically using two division signs, and it would give you the, after dividing it would give you the floor of it, means it would round it off. So that is like the basic arithmetic operators. You can look them up each individually, and then we'll go over to assignment operators. So assignment, we use the equal to sign, as in we have used here, to assign a certain value, but there are also assignment operators that we can use. So basically we were using equal to sign to make something equal, like to assign a value to a variable. We can also use plus equal to, which means that x would be incremented by 3, so it would mean x plus equal to 3 means x equal to x plus 3. Similarly, we have minus equal to, multiplication equal to, modulus, and all the arithmetic operators, which basically mean that x, the same operation would be performed on the variable itself. Then we have and, or, and we have other bitwise operators which we haven't taken up, but if you'll write any operation, this is known as the shorthand, as in you can quickly give the operator, write the equality sign, and you will have a shorthand for the complete big operations. You don't have to write the variable name twice. So these are like the basic assignment operators. Then we have the comparison operators. These are used to compare two values. So we have the equal to equal to. Now this is different from assignment operators because it checks for equality, if they are equal or not. A single equal to means that a value is to be assigned, but this is a check, that is, it checks for a certain value. Then we have not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equal to, and less than equal to. So these are pretty simple. We can, since we have assigned 2 value to both of these, we can check if they are equal or not, and it should return a boolean value. Boolean again are true or false. It's either true or it would be false. Since both are assigned to, it returns true. If I'll change it to another value, it should return false. The other operator, not equal to, which basically returns true if the values are not equal to each other. So since x equals to 2, y equals to 3, it will return true since they are not equal. Then we have the less than, greater than, which work as they are supposed to. So x is less than y, it should return true. So yeah, that is about it. As in, you can check if a number is greater, if a number is less, if it is less than equal to or greater than equal to, and you can use the Python comparison operators to do just that. After this, we have the logical operators. So what if you wanted to perform 2 checks? So these logical operators are used to combine the conditional statements. You can use them for different statements, as in, let us say, like there was also a third variable which was 6. So we want to check if x is less than y and it is less than z, right? So it returned true. If it was 1 here, so it would return false. Why? Because x is less than y, 2 is less than 3, but 2 is not less than 1. So AND operator returns true if both the statements are true. That is, this statement is also true and this is also. Since in this case this is true but this statement is false, so it would return false. Instead, we can use an OR operator. So what OR operator does, even if one statement is true, it returns true. So even if one of these statements was true, then it would return true. If both are true, then also it will return true. But even if one is true, so OR would return true. Last, we have NOT, which basically is that it will reverse the result, and so we can use the NOT operator like this. Now, right now it was returning true, but with NOT it should return false. So it would basically reverse the result and return false if the result is true. So that these are the logical operators in Python. Then we have the bitwise operators. Bitwise operators are used to compare binary numbers. So we have the AND here, a single operator AND, which basically sets each bit to 1 if both bits are 1. So these are used to perform operations on the bit level, and we can use OR. Then we also have XOR, which basically sets each bit to 1 if only one of the two bits is 1. And then we have the NOT, which inverts all these bits. Then we have zero fill left shift and signed right shift. So signed right shift by pushing copies of the leftmost bit and let the rightmost bits fall. So these are like bit operations. These operators are used to perform operations on the bit level. Then we have the Python identity operators, which are basically used to compare objects, as in it returns true if both the variables are the same object. So if there is x and y as a value 2, so we can use the x is y and run this. So it should return true. Basically what it does is it returns true if both the variables are same object. If we also have a is not, which returns the opposite, as in if it was a true statement it would return false, right? So these are basically used to identify or compare two objects. And then last we have the Python membership operators, which are basically used to test if a sequence is presented in an object or not. So returns true if x. So let us say like this was a simple string, and then we have the world, right? So we can use this membership as in to check if x in y, and it should return true. So basically it checks if a particular sequence is presented in an object or not, and not in would again return false. If the statement is true, not in would just return the reverse of it. So we get false here. So these are like the basic operators in Python. You can look up in detail, but this is like all we need to know. We checked out the assignment operators, the equality operators. We would be using in and not in if need is required. Otherwise we can work without this. And then we have the assignment operators. We can use the shorthand when writing code. And yeah, that is about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe the channel to stay updated with the other videos. We'll continue with the Python, and we are just taking up the basics. We'll go over to more advanced concepts as we proceed. And thank you so much for watching.